All right, I'm here with Cox head basketball coach Bobby Wolfe. His Falcons win it tonight at Hassel's Castle at Kellam High School, 62-53 to finish the regular season, 17-3 overall. Coach, Cox, Kellam, it's kind of a big-time rivalry game. You throw the records out the window when you get together, and you end up sweeping the regular season series, which is probably one of the first times you guys have done that, right?
Yeah, I think we did last year too.
But it's
It's not something that happens all the time, that's for sure. But we'll take it.
Start out of the game 9 of 14 in the first quarter from the field, and I noticed all 5 of your starters, the big 3 for you, and Kayvon James, Tavion Robinson, Jordan Lewis, as well as Deshaun Creighton and South Trumbull all scored for you. Were you pleased with how the game started?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. We almost have 4 guys averaging double digits. So, I mean, guys can score for us, and they add in, the guys look for them. Some good things have happened for them. Yeah.
Game got a little close second quarter. What did you guys tell them at halftime as you're leading it by a count of 30-24, knowing that, this could kind of get away from us and we might lose a home game for the first round?
Yeah, well, Kellam at home, we knew they were going to throw a punch, and they did, and they cut it to 6. And so I told them the first 3 minutes are key to start that third quarter. I think the big thing defensively, we did a good job on Josh. He didn't score in the third quarter, and that's basically helped us. That was the big turning point, I feel. Keeping him as limited as possible because he's such a great player.
You didn't have your typical outside shooting, like just 3 of 15 from deep. Kayvon James gets 15, still impacts the game, though he doesn't shoot great. Tavion Robinson, though, now that he's kind of back in basketball mode, 18 points, making plays defensively, and even some of the passes and things he did without the ball were impressive.
Yeah, he adds a different aspect to the game, and when he's in basketball mode mentally, he's a tough player.
Yeah.
I mean, tough player. And it just helps our other guards. It helps Jordan. It creates stuff for Jordan. Jordan got some nice stuff driving to the hole, too, because Tavion was able to create so much and opened up some stuff for KJ.
You've been around the game long enough to know that high school basketball is a guard game. Basketball in general is a guard game, especially nowadays when at the college or pro level. But when people walk in the gym, you don't have that imposing type of size. I mean, inside, Deshaun Creighton and Jai Rudd are playing well for undersized posts.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of relish knowing that people might sleep on the fact that you're not the biggest of teams?
Yeah, I think so, and they relish in it. They step up, and Deshaun's had some huge games for us. He scored 18 one at a time with 12 rebounds, a few blocks. So, I mean, he can bring it, and Jai's just so long. That's the thing about both of them. They're 6'1", 6'2" at the max, but their arms, you would think they're 6'4".
Yeah.
They're so long, and they can get off the force so quick.
Couple more for that you run. Watching the second half kind of unfold there, and they've got a great guard of their own in Josh Talbert, who could be in the player of the year conversation.
Absolutely.
I'm watching your guards and kind of their demeanor. They've got a little bit of a swagger and confidence, not in a bad way. Like they've been through this now. They're kind of veterans of this. Have you gotten that since during the year?
Yeah, I think they have confidence. I mean, look what we did last year. Why shouldn't they? As long as it gets everyone together, we'll use it. Yeah. We'll use it.
Fourth quarter, Lewis goes down, grabs his ankle. Were you holding your breath there? Like,
oh yeah. Then they instantly scored after that, and I'm just like, here we go. But he's a warrior, and he's not gonna. He might not be able to walk out of here, but.
A kid that's been slept on, I think, for next level too. I know he's only a junior. Tavion going to Tech for football. Kayvon Lynchburg.
I mean, I've coached 22 years. He's by far probably the best on-ball defender I have, and he sees the floor like no one else I've coached. I mean, he makes passes every game that you just like, wow. And it's always.
Last one, thank you for your time. You're going to get to open up the region tournament, a game that could be like a region championship with Granby. You know about how good their guards are and how talented they are. Your thoughts on that early match? I know you'll do your homework and your scout work.
I already got some scouting done on them just because I wasn't sure where we'd end up, but their guards are great, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a packed house. Hopefully we can go to Scope again. That's our goal. Get to Scope again.
Should be a great one next Tuesday night at the Cox High School Falcon Nest. Cox Granby winner goes to Scope. Thanks so much. We'll see you there.
I appreciate it.
Great job.
Thanks.
Good job.